Again, well, it's Saturday afternoon and we're coming up to the end of the tournament in a couple of hours' time. We've been doing the Scrolls tournament, which is, by reputation, probably the most difficult of the whole lot. And while I've been fiddling around with it, I thought I would show you why it's difficult. Because people say, okay, it's difficult, how come? This is my number 2 city. I'm doing quite nicely in the Sorcerers and Dragons. I have sort of shuffled things around, and I've just managed to make enough room to get this campus fully expanded in a week or two's time, and I get all the goodies I need to do it. It's been tight, but it's not impossible. Remember, when you're doing your pest races before this, try to build square, the settlement. You will be needing a square settlement in Sorcerers. Righty, well, just let's zoom in on the inventory drop, shall we? Over there. Those are our standard goods. Let's just make a screenshot of them. By reputation, there are 5 of these that are considered to be easy. Steel, planks, crystal, silk, and elixir. Now, you might want to know what makes the other ones difficult. So, Scrolls is a perfectly good province in which to demonstrate this. Let's go and look at a typical encounter in the Scrolls province. Righty, let's see what we can find, shall we? This one will do. There are 4 kinds of enemy that you will find in the Scrolls province. Here they are. You have the light-ranged Mistwalker. You also have the light-ranged Ranger. You have the Mage Priest. And you have the heavy-ranged Orc Deserter. Well, let's take a screenshot of this and go and move it over onto my artwork page, and then we'll go and have a look to see where the problem comes from. Well, there you go. They're the 4 types, and we'll just remove that one to make it easier. Now I want to go back, and I want to go and pick up from one of my military buildings. I want to go and pick up the 5 types of troops and bring them over here. So let's go fetch them. Let's go into the barracks, and let's go to the army camp. Now I'm going to capture this picture as well and take it across to my art page. Let's paste that here, shall we? There we go. Right, well, I haven't got a mercenary camp in that number 2 city. I've got a barracks and I've got a training ground. And there you have light melee, light range, you have mage, you have heavy melee, and you have heavy range. Now I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. Now I have just trimmed it down so it's easier to work around it. Now what you've got to understand, first of all, when you are fighting against a unit of the same kind, the strength is equal, for which we will use a yellow box. So if a mage was fighting against another mage, all other factors equal. If you haven't got ancient wonders to boost you, then you'll be losing more or less 1 for 1 in fights, you see. Now, where are your units effective? The answer is they are effective against the 2 units on their right hand side. And we'll use a nice green arrow to show that, you see. So if your mage is fighting against other units, she will take out the treant, and she'll take out the golem, or if you're a human, she'll take out the paladin, or she'll take out the mortar, or she'll take out any others from the training grounds or the mercenary camp, or the ones you find in the provinces, that way, okay? However, she is not effective against 2 kinds on her left. They will take her out. So for that we're going to use a red arrow. So there you get the idea. If we're looking at the mage units, they are good against these and they're bad against those. Okay. Now, let's be smart. I'm going to grab those things. Let's look at our light range units. She is equal against her own, and she'll take out mages, and she'll take out heavy melee, but she is not good against this man, and she's not good against that one. Let's go there. Same thing, equal good against light range, good against mages, pathetic against heavy melee, pathetic against heavy ranged. Okay, the other ones I've showed you, there you go, same story here. Don't use him against these two, they'll clean him. Do use him against those two. Now, that's what you've got to carry around in your head when you want to understand what works. Just carry this thing around in your head. Remember that the two on the right are good. That's that one there, and of course it's also equal to that one there, you see. And the two on the left are bad. So once you've got that in your head, well, you know, then you've got half of the solution to what works and what doesn't work. Let's just go back to that fight I was looking at, shall we? Now, I don't want to fight it because I'm trying to make a short video, but let's just go inside. Let's go into the fight screen. Now, we have another video that shows when you're auto-fighting how you can use the computer's own estimation to work out what works. The video was made for us by Ted Grau, and I put a link underneath this video. I'll put a link you can click to go and watch it. Alright, so in the fights, here's a trick that you can use. Hover over that man, you see, and down on the bottom line you'll see he's no good against the mage. Do you see the mage second from the left? He has got no, it's not lighted up, so that mage is going to eat him. He is equal against his own kind, also heavy ranged, see, equal, and he's good against these two, because they are two to the left of him. So there you go. Your golem is not effective against the mage type. He is good against his own kind, equally good, and he's very good against the light range. If you go over here, you'll see you wouldn't be thinking of using treants here, because they aren't really awfully good. There are three enemy types that are going to eat them. Over here, looking at mages, there are two enemy types that will take them out. But this one is a mage killer, so you wouldn't want to be using sorceresses there. We come over here, we'll see your archer is good against that kind, equal, and very good against the mage, but very awful against the heavy range, and they will eat her. Okay, so I think you've got the idea, but when you're working with tricky provinces, this is useful. Let's go back to my little diagram now. So I've taken that pretty little picture I had, and I've cut it up. There are the four kinds that you will see in the Scrolls province, and there you go, two light ranged, one mage, one heavy ranged. Okay, now let's try and find one troop that will eat him. Let's see if that one will work. Whoa. See, your archer is on equal footing against this one. Your archer in theory can zap him, but your archer doesn't touch that one. Okay, so no archers. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's say we take sorceresses. Well, look at yourself. Your sorceress will take him out, but these two are going to eat her. Let's try taking heavy melee. Well, these two will take the heavy melee right out, and he'll eat that one, you see. And let's look at light melee, and you'll see again the light melee is not effective against this man, but it is effective against those. That, in a nutshell, bang, 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 is the reason why the Scrolls tournament and the Magic Dust tournament, the Marble tournament, they are difficult because you have no one single fighter. Now let's imagine that things were different. Let's imagine that this chappie was here, you see. Well, then it would be very easy to win this fight, wouldn't it? You could, for example, allow your archers to work against his light melee, and then they would take these two out. But with him over there, it just doesn't work. So what do we do about this in practice? Well, there are lazy ways of doing things, you see. So what I would say to you is this combination where you have this man and that man, whatever takes him won't take him. If you're a human, you would perhaps be able to use your priest, but only if there aren't any of those, you see. So what I would say to you is, when you have those two, any combination that includes those two, what I would do with that's my suggestion. If you don't have one of this guy or that one, then you can AutoFight. So for example, if you have this combination of light range plus heavy range, you can win them if you've got nice strong golems, because you use a golem. Your golem will fight against the man of his own strength, and of course he will be very effective against the light range. I wouldn't do it if there are more than two of the enemy kind against you, but if there's only one, or perhaps even two on day 1 and 2 and 3, then you could certainly still AutoFight that. So what I would do there is AutoFight with heavy range. And there is your other possible combination. What happens when you have no heavy ranged units? Only mage units. Well, that's quite obvious. Those you will take out with light melee. Your light melee units are good against light ranged, and they're good against mage. And of course, if you have opened the training grounds and you've got Cerberus, War Dog, that's the one. When there are no heavy ranged enemy units, then you can use light melee. There you go. I've moved them all over here now, and there are your options. If you want to be lazy and you want to rush through this Scrolls tournament, it's a difficult one. Just cater anything where you see those two faces in the enemy, or manual fight. If you're fussy and finicky and you've got time, go for the manual fight. But if you haven't got time, cater those when you see this face and that face. If you don't see that face, but only these two, AutoFight with heavy melee. And if you don't see that face, but only these two, AutoFight with light melee. I'm not going to tell you this is a tremendously professional way of doing it, because it isn't. But if you're in a hurry and you do want to get your knowledge points, and you do want to get your rune shards and your shard fragments, so you want to be able to make a showing at this tournament, though your losses are going to be horrendously high, because it is an unsuitable tournament, because the enemy are of all different kinds and there is no natural fighter to use against them. But if you want to make a showing at this tournament and just grab yourself 50 knowledge points and grab 20 relics and grab some root shards, well, this is the way to do it, for me. Others will show you better, more accurate ways of doing it if you have time in your hand. Certainly nothing beats a manual fight or a semi-auto fight. But if you want to just cruise through this tournament, clickety-click, clickety-click, clackety-clack in 20 minutes, cater these and AutoFight those with one combination and AutoFight those with another. Obviously, from time to time, you will find two priests. For those, you will take out, obviously, with the unit that works best against them. But other than certain very specialized combinations that an expert will know, for an ordinary fighter, this approach is far from ideal, but it does work. Well, here's the answer to the question that we asked right at the beginning, which was, which provinces are difficult and which ones are easy? What makes a province difficult? What makes it easy? Well, the answer is quite simple. The enemy units must be adjacent. In this picture, they're not. So there's no one single unit type to be used. And if you mix and match and you decide, well, I'll take some archers to take out the mage, and I'll take some golems to take out the other one, and you mix and match, AutoFight will get it all confused and send the wrong troops after the wrong ones, and then your heavy losses in this province will be even heavy. In this example, on the other hand, the provinces are adjacent, and therefore finding a suitable troop type will be much easier. Good, well, thanks for being with us. Don't forget, Elvenar Platinum Leaf is the biggest independent Facebook group that deals with Elvenar. We do not have any representatives or staff of any games working for us. We have 230 what we call InfoTips, which are little nuggets of Elvenar information on all different kinds of subjects, from the very basic to the most complicated. And we have more than 100 videos, and you're very welcome to come and join us there. I'll put a link below this video, and I'm also going to put a link there for our what we call QuickPick. We do one every week for each tournament type. Again, based not for the professional, not for the very highly skilled fighter. This is a guide for AutoFights, which Timon tells us is about 70% of all players. And it's just basic stuff. It's just what I showed you now, quick and easy. And we put out one every week for every different tournament type with specific information for that week. So come and join us on Facebook then. See you around. Bye.